Seems good. Hey, everybody. Community call number 57 today. And some people on the road. Christoph is out today in London at adopting Bitcoin. So it's just the six of us, it seems. Christoph will watch later. So hi. And yeah, we started having these community calls, kind of more like planning calls for the community. And I'm gonna paste the Google Doc here in the chat so that we can all follow along. I can probably also just share my screen and have it kind of in one. Uh, Here we go. All right.
Nice job, Michael.
Cool. It seems to be working. All
Good
right.
job on the note. Michael.
Yeah. So what we have kind of on the radar for now, and we can discuss. Please feel free to add topics that we could discuss today. But kind of the main ones that we were planning on was BTC Prague, the hack day. There are a couple of updates in the meantime since we last talked about it, and the Accessibility Awareness Day, and yes, Eric's grant, of course. I was saying before we turned on the recording that it's time to celebrate, and it's too bad that Josh Rush is not here because he always is the fastest one with the gifts. So so yeah, congrats, man. It's
Yeah,
uh,
we
it's
just.
Thank
exciting.
I'd like to speak also on behalf of the Bitcoin Design Foundation that we're super happy to be giving out the first grant to Erik. We've been watching him silently and observing his work, and we're super grateful that he's ready to contribute to the guide and to the community. But just just celebrating the first grantee is a big thing, and I'll hand it over to Erik because I think that we should be in the light. So I'll hand it over to you. You can share a bit about maybe why you applied, what you'll be working on, that kind of thing.
Yeah, thanks. And yeah, thanks for, I guess, the opportunity. So I've been I've been aware of, the Bitcoin design community, and I've kind of been contributing a little bit in the past. With life and work, it's always really, really hard to kind of find the time. But, when I heard about like what the foundation was doing, and I was kind of already aware of some of the existing grant work that was coming out of Spiral. It just kind of seemed like a good opportunity, and it seemed like I know the ethos were like aligned since we're all contributing in the open source spirit. So I've been, working on a lot of Bitcoin stuff, but over the last year, I've been really kind of focused on the eCash on Bitcoin and the protocols around that, and helping out with all kinds of apps that are doing that, both for mobile and for web. And when I kind of thought about like what is it that I can help contribute with, well, it's probably the stuff that I'm already kind of passionate about and I'm already kind of heads down in, and I think is really cool, which is eCash on Bitcoin, and how Chami and eCash as a mechanism works on Bitcoin, and what are the risks, what are the trade-offs, and from a design point of view, what makes this uh, you know this mechanism or this way of interacting with Bitcoin different from what we're used to when we compare it to things like on-chain or Lightning. eCash is a very, very different system in a lot of ways. I don't want to talk too much about it here because it's out of scope, but just to give you guys an idea, like one of the ways that I think it's really different is that it's entirely a system where you're pushing data, where you're pushing a string of data, and that data is the money, and anyone can kind of claim that string of data. It's kind of very different from how kind of Lightning works, where you're sending to specific addresses or generating an invoice, and you're creating like a kind of like a net, a place for it to go. So there's all these kinds of trade-offs with eCash, and there's different custody models and different, ways that the user has to think about mints and all these things. So yeah, the eCash has kind of been taken on a life of its own. I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard about like Fetty and Fetty Mint and Cashew and eNuts, and there's all this stuff. But unless you're really kind of involved in it, I think you can probably get lost or just have uncertainty. So what I want to do, and part of the grant that I'm going to be part of the work that I'm going to be doing for the grant is helping kind of explain like what eCash is on Bitcoin at a high level. What are the different protocols? What are the trade-offs? How a user would interact with it. What you need to know about eCash, and then also what are the design considerations. That's something that I think is really not talked about. Just because one, it's very new, and there's not that many designers that are focused on it. So if I can help get people excited about eCash and get people exploring it, get people using it, and just helping push it a little bit further, I'm happy to do that. And the Bitcoin Design Foundation giving me the chance to kind of dedicate time and have an avenue and have a platform where we can kind of put this in a place that makes sense. The Bitcoin Design Guide, an eCash section, I think is a really good starting point. It can be a resource that's not just good for designers, but because we're designers, we think about how do we communicate complex things to users, and how do we break these things down in ways that are useful, sensible, and digestible. So I hope that this section of the guide will be something that kind of anyone can use, even if you're like a protocol developer, like, oh, go to the Bitcoin, .design guide and look at the eCash section. They've done a really good job of kind of thinking through it and explaining it, in a very good way. So that's going to be what my focus is. And yeah, shout out to the Bitcoin Design Foundation for kind of spearheading this effort. Not just for me, but also for the future grants down the line, because this stuff is helpful, and this is how we make progress. This is one of the ways that we make progress. So yeah, I'm just excited to get the ball rolling on this.
Yeah, it's really awesome because like you said, it's um, if you work on other stuff on your own thing, it's hard to get into it. So I love having somebody who's gonna explain it to me, how it exactly it works. So that's awesome. And when do you start? Is it like right now, like after this call, or do you have some kind of um, timeline?
Yeah, I think the time that I'm wrapping up a couple things, both on kind of some of the other projects I'm working on by the end of March. So kind of April, I'm planning on be kind of heads down and just really focused on this. So starting in April, so about 2 weeks.
Nice. Yeah, that's awesome. Very cool. You're
Looking
the
forward
guinea.
to, yeah,
Sorry,
he's the
Mo.
guinea pig. No, go ahead, Michael.
Yeah, you're the guinea pig. You're the first the Bitcoin Design Foundation grantee, I guess.
He is
Yeah,
the guinea pig. I sent him over just this morning a walkthrough of how to sign up for the Open Collective platform, which was where all the grants would be paid out. And I just gave him, I said, with full transparency, this is our first time. Please give us feedback. So feel free to be as honest as possible, Eric. We welcome
yeah,
your
I'll review the doc and let you know.
good stuff.
Awesome. Nice. All right. Anything else about grantees? I mean, I guess since we're talking about the foundation, we could also spend kind of a few minutes on that, or we could just head over to the BTC Prague part.
Yeah, I'll just chime in that, we have in the Bitcoin Discord, in the design community, we have the foundation channel. We'd like things to be as open and as transparent as possible. So if any of you on the call have any questions about the foundation or the grants or the process, just feel free to ask questions in the Bitcoin design community, the foundation channel. I can add the link into the channel as we continue. So yeah.
Cool. All right. And everybody subscribe to the newsletter, I hope. Cool. Um, so if we go, are there any other topics that you think should be discussed, or do these three kind of make sense? That's it. That I take that as a it makes sense answer. So we got the first one, and let's jump to the BTC Prague thing. In that case, let me share here. We have a planning doc. I'm gonna post the chat also in the chat here. And so what we've been discussing last time, there were a couple of questions about visa or invitation letters, and I've reached out to the organizers, and they have no problem at all sending and writing these invitation letters. They did it as well for last year's conference. I think they had also people from India and from Africa, so they're pretty used to that. They have a template. So as soon as we know who would be willing to attend and get their personal info, I'll have to check what exactly they need. But if anybody wants to join and needs an invitation letter, feel free to reach out here or to me personally, or in Discord, or in the conferences channel. So I guess that's where we could be discussing these things. So just reach out, and yeah, they'll be happy to help with that. I don't know. I think Loic would be maybe interested in attending if possible. So if but anybody else, I think Tanishka as well. So feel free
Sure,
to.
I will be interested, and I was discussed with Christophe. So I
Mhm.
need to go to the embassy here and try to check what do I need to take a
Okay.
flight. So that's the main point I'm working on right now. And if I have a feedback, I will let you know. So we can plan things together.
Yeah, perfect.
So
You can just send me a DM on Discord, and we
sure.
can take it from there.
Okay, no problem. Thank you.
Cool. All right, that was one of the updates, and another one that also Mo doesn't know about yet because it's fresh about the costs that we discussed, because as we were organizing this kind of the design room and the design track, we rented out furniture and organized a bunch of stuff. And I just got contacted today by Matthias, one of the organizers, and he was asking what we would need, and I I didn't talk to him yet because it was right before his call. So I said, yeah, the furniture was like 50 or 60% of all the costs that we had last year. And to that, he mentioned that they will probably have much better, what do you say, rates if you would take something from the main conference, because they also organize furniture on there. So they probably have. Maybe we can find something pretty cool. So we'll keep investigating on that avenue. But it seems like they're open to um, give us a budget, at least for or help out with the furniture, at least. I don't know what in which form or fashion.
Well, that's
Yeah,
good news, Mike. That's very good.
yeah. We'll see when we'll see. So, but yeah, I know them. They're pretty relaxed. I mean, they also have a relatively tight budget. I know that, but I mean, this is what we need is not gonna make or break a conference, right? It's gonna um, hopefully it's gonna be okay. And the last update, I think, but I don't know since nobody on this call was on last year's conference or Hack Day. We agreed with Stick that we take not the same room but a different one, slightly bigger one, and now it's time to kind of get a better sense of the programming that we want to do. That's something maybe that we could discuss since we have new grantees here. Maybe a design or some kind of session on eCash, cashew, Fediment, or these kinds of topics would be, I think, pretty cool. I also reached out to Seed Signer because he's planning to attend also the Hack Day, I guess, and maybe something how they approached kind of the design of Seed Signer, which could also be a very cool topic, I think. So that's kind of my two sets here, and I guess we can just open it up for convo and kind of a discussion about if you guys have any other ideas around topics or schedule. Let's do it.
Oh, he's coming back.
Oh, there you
There
are.
he is.
We lost you for a bit.
Also, just leading off, just following off of what Michael said, this we can organize this and have as much fun as we want. Last year when we were in Prague, we had a booth, and then next to that we had this hack day, which was in this room which we organized. It was very fun, very dynamic. It's open to your ideas, So we have this Google document at the moment. So if you have some fun ideas about like a group session that we can do together, just add them into the Google document. If you're willing to lead a workshop or a design, some area. What else came up? I think something like a panel would be good as well. Last year when I spoke in Prague, I gave a presentation about research. Last year, Christoph ended up doing share, I guess. So, yeah. I don't know if there's anything else you want to add on that, Michael.
Yeah, I don't know because I keep dropping from the call, unfortunately. So the recording works, but the internet doesn't.
Good stuff,
Sorry.
Michael. Good.
Yeah.
I'm almost home, so I'll be losing my connection for a few minutes as I go into my home, but then I'll join in again.
Yeah. We'll have to stitch. We have to stitch the recordings together
Yeah.
probably anyway because it stopped, and at least it's saved. So that's good. But I completely lost all connectivity for everything here. So it's stupid. I don't know why there is not one call where when I record that goes without hiccups. So so don't know what the topic is right now, but yeah.
Still on Prague. Who's going? Who can make it? Ideas. Yeah, I threw in. If I go, I mean, I wouldn't mind doing like some eCash stuff, but I'm just kind of also mindful to maybe think about what are some alternatives to doing events that aren't one individual speaking to a crowd, because it's something a little bit more interactive. Is I think what the vibe that is something we want to create in a space that's like about like design. It's like kind of like hands-on. Like I like this. I really like when I design projects, kind of doing activities that get people in the mindset that everyone's a designer, even if you think you're not trained to. So when I work on projects, I have like developers in there and I'm showing them ABs. Like, what do you think? They're like, oh, well, why don't we try moving the pills or the table here? Like people love doing that. They love, it's like a natural human thing. Like when you were a kid, you love moving shapes around and creating things. And so I wonder if there's something that we can do that kind of like triggers that kind of feeling of people, like fun and excitement in design, that isn't so much of a lecture and presentation, especially because they're already going to be in Prague. They're already going to get hit with presentations and technicalities. It would be cool, I think, to make this space a little bit different.
And Erik, you are absolutely on spot with your train of thinking because at least, being as one of the organizers from last year as well, most fun happened during the design duel, which was pretty much where everyone just got together. They received prompts. They had to redesign screens based off
Mhm.
certain prompts. The vibe and the energy in the room was so good when we did that. Getting people hands on and showing people that they can design too. And I think that's what we need as well to bring more people into the space. I think people have the misconception that Bitcoin or blockchain technology is a very difficult technology to work on, and you can basically smash that conception by just getting people to design and to be hands-on. So I'd like to see more of that. And Eric, even if you're not going to attend, if you have a good workshop idea or a good LARP idea as well, feel free to add it to the Google document as well.
Yeah, I'm adding stuff now. So yeah, I'll do that. If I come up with a really, I think, fire idea, I'll probably come. If I come across like one that I think is really exciting, that'll be like the last thing because I'm already kind of leaning. Every time I get on this call, I feel more bullish about going to Prague. So
Yeah, you
We're a
should.
very cozy bunch when we're in person. We're a very cozy bunch. There's a lot of fun.
There's going to be also a lot of good dinners. Last time I think almost every evening we went to dinner somewhere. So uh, that also was fun. Did a little stroll around the city on the day after the conference. So you should come.
yeah, I'm down. Everyone should come. Dinner's on Michael for all the nights. So let's do
Well,
it.
um, I think I have to run now. No, just kidding. No, I don't. I don't have any money there. I just had a boating accident. Cool. Yeah. So I guess probably kind of the next steps here is really think about what we could do as part of this as part of the workshop. Something that also was I think many people came and were pretty active was Christoph's AI presentation, how to work with Mid Journey and stuff. So that was also pretty interesting, and the design duel was that was awesome. Cool. And do you guys have any questions that I can or should take to the organizers, or about the venue itself? So what my plan is to go at some point, probably at the end of the month or so, to go to the hotel where it's going to be. Take again a couple of pictures, maybe even a small video, so that everybody can kind of get a sense of the room and the venue. So that's something that I plan to do, and I'll get some measurements of the room so that we know how um, how much space we have and stuff like that. Um, but other than that, probably let's just start. Plan, do the schedule,
Yeah,
and
I'll start brainstorming on like kind of more interactive things. Is it? Do we have the whole day, like 8 hours?
yeah, it started I think around 9 a.m. or 9:30, and it was and Stick organized it. Stick is one of the co-founders of Trezor and Satoshi Labs, and the way it was, I think, set up is that you could the rooms were reserved until like midnight, so that people who actually would then, after the kind of more official programming stopped around 6, I think, or 5:30. But you know, to keep the venue open for people who really just want to maybe collaborate on something, work something out, or just keep talking. I don't know whether that really happened, because we were kind of juggling between the hack day and then preparation for the booth at the main event. because they were in two different locations. So
Mhm.
we kind of left, and we also, I think, we went to dinner because, frankly, it was pretty kind of mentally draining to always be kind of presenting something or kind of talking to people. So I don't know whether that really happened as planned, but yeah, it's to answer the question. Yeah, it's like I think it was from 9 to 6 or 9 to 5,
Okay.
something like that. Yep, that was it. I brought plants from my home, so that it was more kind of cozy. I'm gonna bring them again.
Nice. Yeah, I have like some sun lamps I can bring. They're like this big and they have like a nice light vibe.
Yeah, what I'm gonna do is I'll put some pictures of last year's decoration in this Google Doc for some inspiration, and then also the pictures from this year's venue, since it's going to be in a different room. But yeah, I was thinking of finally doing that user story mapping workshop that I wanted to do last year, but didn't get to, because that's also something that I think is a very simple exercise, and especially if you work on kind of on, let's say, not trivial things, user story mapping can be pretty cool, or a good technique, and you can explain it in like 30 minutes with a little exercise. So that's one of the ideas. Cool. But I guess if
Best of luck there with the recordings. Oh man.
Hey Mo, welcome back.
yeah, she's back magically.
But yeah, now that we talk about it, I'll probably be in Prague. And you don't need a pass for this event, just so, or you need to buy like the $30 pass, right? The
So the hack day is kind of a different event from the main conference. But when we talked to Stick last week, I think people who are actually actively contributing, they will get a free pass. I mean, at least for the hack day,
Okay,
and
cool.
it's like 120 euros normally. But if for active contributors, I guess it's gonna be free, because you're providing value, so you should get some
Yeah.
value back. But yeah, the main conference is I think it starts at 30 $30 or something. Cool. All right, so maybe let's wrap the hack day up for today and kind of
Mhm.
continue working in the Google Doc, just adding ideas there. And Mo, while you were automatically reappearing, I said I'm gonna go to the hotel maybe in a couple of weeks to take some pictures of this new room video, and I'm also gonna put some inspirational stuff into the Google Doc from last year, so to see so that people see how it went.
Yeah, something super fun to share on that last note is last year, Christoph generated this AI image. He put some prompt into which was the one that we use? Let me see. He put some prompt into Midjourney, and he asked Midjourney what like a futuristic, hackathon event would look like, and that's how we designed the whole space
Nice.
from that prompt. So if you guys are wanting to have fun in
Right.
Midjourney, put some prompts in, um, think about some design ideas for the room. Feel free. Like, just feel free to throw ideas out. Just have fun. In the conference channel, just throw your ideas out there and just share whatever you think would be fun to do. We can always buy stuff, and last year the lighting made the biggest difference. We made the whole room dark, and the lighting made this whole vibe in the room, which was very nice.
Yeah. In the Google Doc, in the planning doc that I shared earlier, at the bottom there are links to the Figma file that we had, to kind of all the planning stuff. So this this doc here is, you can find everything there as well.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now.
Cool. All right. I guess let's move on to the Accessibility Awareness Day. I guess we're already like 40 minutes in.
Yeah, it's okay. I don't think there's much, so Accessibility Day, Global Accessibility Day is on the 16th of May. Last year, the community did something fun. To explain a little bit about accessibility, 1 in 9 people, if I have the statistics correctly, has some sort of accessibility issue with using an application. So which means they could have a visual disability, or they could have something with their hands. And this is a very real practical thing that's not being addressed that much in the ecosystem at large, not only in Bitcoin. So last times I feel so last year we organized a bit of an awareness day around accessibility. We got really practical hands-on. We were like, hey, you're from wallet X. Let's go jump into your wallet and investigate and feel how accessible this will be for a user with this type of visual disability, or this or this. And it was really nice for the projects. And then we jumped into their GitHubs, and then we launched issues. So we really try to help people and educate people. So this year it's coming up again, and we'd love to have another initiative in the community. It's a pretty low lift initiative, to be honest, because pretty much we have one call on the day itself. So on the day of the event, we'll have one call in the community, just inviting people to learn more, to test their own wallets, that kind of thing. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And I kicked off a little bit of a planning document today, actually this morning, but it is by no means the planning document. It's a little bit of trying to think about what we need to think about to get it started. And one of the things is which wallets will we reach out to? Last year we tried to reach out to Mun, Zeus, Phoenix, BTC Pay was there as well. Breeze. So it's pretty much like reaching out to wallets. Um, you can add in some names to this list as well if you'd like some other wallet teams you think would be good to be involved. So we reach out to wallets, and then we share the initiative in different communities, and then we create some social media posts, and then on the day itself we have a little bit of an agenda. Just like during the 1 hour call, we do an introduction, we showcase them some resources, we do some testing, live testing, we document the results, and then we just, we try to support the projects as much as possible. Sometimes we launch an accessibility issue on their GitHub, and then they need advice on how to actually implement that. So yeah, I mean that's it. I feel like I'm a little bit knee deep in accessibility. So are there any questions around this topic or this initiative that anyone has? Because it's a lovely initiative. It's one day we'll all be older and our eyesight will all get slightly worse, and we will all need a Bitcoin wallet. So it's a very real thing that's coming up for all of us, and very real for many people as well. So yeah, are there any questions or ideas? I know this accessibility topic is very, very new for a lot of people, or any ideas you have.
Nothing comes to my head immediately.
For me, the only one thing is actually would be a good topic for the hack day as well, since we will have kind of builders there, and but not to the accessibility day per se itself.
We were at a conference recently, and at the conference there were these two. Their whole focus is really on accessibility, and something that they did was they just had a little table, and on the table they had these glasses which you get just from a normal hardware store, and they
Mhm.
painted those glasses black to simulate the experience of being completely blind and using your phone. So that was a very nice thing that they
Mhm.
did, which got you very hands on.
Mhm.
Another thing that they did was they bought these sort of handyman gloves from a hardware store, and then they sewed two of the fingers closed. And then they were like, okay, now, try to use your phone with what you have. You do not have your pointed finger, the traditional fingers which you use to navigate in applications. And this creates a lot of empathy, I think, for designers and for developers to really get hands on. And I think they created that empathy very early on before they started educating us and teaching us, like, this is how you test and this is how you can improve and that kind of thing. So it was really nice to, see that empathy right at the beginning, um,
Mhm.
and with just a couple of simple things. And then they asked us, they were like, okay, like go to a website that you use very often. So I went to the Bitcoin Design Guide, and then they were like, okay, scroll through it, try to imagine using it as a blind person. And then they also had these filter glasses because, there's also different sort of people. Some people don't see green, some people don't see orange. So these glasses sort of emulate those, people who cannot see different colors, which is really interesting. We design applications using any color we have in mind. We do it from a very aesthetic perspective, but there's a lot more to that as well. So yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, I think in terms of moving the accessibility day forward, we have this Google document. If you guys have any projects which you think are like, if you're in close contact with certain projects and you think they would be a good fit to join in on the accessibility day, if you have a contact of someone, just like add their name into the list of projects, and then we can contact them when the day comes closer. Um, Yeah, and we'll do a little bit of a workshop as well, like a really hands-on workshop on the day itself.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like the most maybe the thing that kind of piqued my interest the most is like getting hands on with the experience and kind of seeing what it's like. It's a good way to sharpen your skills as a designer, and I think people would find that helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, in terms of the planning, we have this Google document, and then I just thought in terms of like, I added in some of the same wallet names as last year as well. The BTC Pay team, there were a few of them on the call, and there was another wallet that was on the call as well. So it's more about contacting wallets and getting confirmation on their attendance. So that's why I said if you have any
Mm.
contacts with any wallets who you think feel free to add their name to the list as well.
Mhm.
And then last year we shared it in the Bitcoin product community, we shared it in Stacker News, shared it in LDK, BDK. We created a little bit of posts, a little bit of social media awareness around it. And then, yeah, we gave people some, Christoph designed some really cool Noster badges for people who actually took part in the on the accessibility day, and then everyone got this Noster badge. Um, yeah, and that was it. I mean, it's pretty easy, pretty straightforward. It's a very low lift activity. If there's a wallet that you think, yeah, it would be cool if they would be involved, just add their name here to the list, and then if you reach out to the wallet, just write your name, like you reached out to the wallet, for example. But yeah, I can't think of anything else for now. I don't know what would be interesting to you guys to we have two designers here. We have Erik and Michael. What would be interesting for you guys in terms of learning about accessibility or
Well, I guess an update on kind of where they stand now for like the simple things like contrast checker, like the WCAG, like AAA guidelines on like color combinations and stuff like that. That's something that I often reference kind of towards the end of my design process. But I think it would be one thing that I always wonder is like how many other companies are referencing this, and it'd be cool to see like on a matrix, like okay, here's the other kind of products that I look up to or Bitcoin companies, and here's where they stand on their website or their contrast combinations on their app. Like that would be useful for me. It's quite a big lift though, but I know that there's more to accessibility than just contrast. So that's just kind of one very small part of it. But that's the part that I'm kind of maybe I'm most knowledgeable about, just because it's really the only one that I feel like I can solve based on the knowledge that I have. But the more I learn from like initiatives like this, the more I'll be able to kind of solve other issues or make them more accessible in probably in regard to things that I'm not even thinking about.
Yeah, it's a good one. So just like some practical, like, okay, this is a before and after kind of thing. Like this is a wallet that's doing it really well. This is before, this is an after. So you guys can see things from a very practical perspective. They are like, as I said, there were these two accessibility specialists which we met at the conference, and they gave us some examples of some websites that do accessibility very well as traditional banking applications. So I think I might just reach out to them via email and ask what those names are,
Mm-hmm.
because they refer to those as doing it well.
Yeah.
So
That would be very cool. Because I was also wondering, if let's say you have a mobile wallet and you're kind of completely blind, or you basically can't rely on your eyes, how it actually would work, or for using just voiceover, for instance, right? Or kind of using voice control rather. So that's, and I've never tried it.
and I've also shared the page in the Bitcoin Design Guide. Interesting. There's a very strange thing coming up at the end of the URL. It says text equals access, but that's the accessibility page that we. I'll just share this in my screen as well. But that's the accessibility page that we we created last year, and it's explaining a bit about the different types: visual, physical, intellectual, hearing literacy. And then here you have some very practical examples showing you the labels. So this is more on the development side, a screen that has missing labels. The labels plays a big thing in terms of the screen readers. So on the development side, putting these labels in and labeling them correctly allows the screen reader to actually read out the text. Because a blind person would swipe down, I think it's with two fingers, if I remember correctly, and then their phone is essentially going to read out everything that's on that screen. So having the labels is a quite a low lift activity from the development side. So that's something we did last year. We pretty much went to the GitHub of a bunch of wallets. We turned on, we did accessibility testing. So, for example, like I would download the Phoenix wallet on my phone. I would turn on voice, the voice settings, so that would read out everything that's on the screen. And then I would basically make notes of everything it was reading out, and then I would share that feedback back with the project. So, and then for them, the developer, you just launch an issue and you're like, hey, it would be great if you could add in some labels to the screen. And then if they fix that on their side, then it's quite a low lift activity that has quite a big impact for someone who cannot see. So yeah, that's
Nice.
you can have a bit of a read about that, and yeah, that's the accessibility bit.
Nice. Yes, this is already pretty healthy. So I'll take a look at that myself. There's already so much I could learn just from that.
Yeah. And if you have any feedback on that page as well, feel free to chime in. Always welcome feedback. Yeah, I don't I don't think there's any more. Sorry, go ahead, Michael.
No, it's I'm just making noise.
No, I don't think there's anything more on the accessibility day. I don't know, Carter or Loic, if you have any questions or ideas, but yeah, I don't think there's anything else on the accessibility day.
Something that I would like to see, of course, is the ability to adjust text sizes in wallets more. And I know that definitely manipulates the overall design of these wallets. But as you were mentioning, we're all getting older, and as I try to onboard my parents to a wallet, sometimes they have difficulty reading like transaction text because that's always so small, or even just their SATs total. Of course, sometimes they need that to be a little bit bigger. But another thing that I wanted to touch on when you were mentioning about the text to audio accessibility feature for people who are blind, that we be careful with our designs in that way, not to give away too much in a privacy way. Of course, we don't want Bitcoin totals to be stated out loud or put that person in danger of, if they're using their wallet in public, that maybe those accessibility features, like, keep that in mind. Maybe there's a feature that if they can open up the wallet and it just goes straight to the payment rather than going to like a home page that gives them the breakdown of everything that's in their wallet. Of course, that's a really rough idea, and I'm trying to think about how to create a better flow for that. But that's one thing that does come to mind, is not putting these people in danger if they're using the wallet in public.
You've hit some really good. You've mentioned some really good things, and in general, good accessibility principles leads to better privacy and better security for users. So just like what Carter mentioned, like the home screen, and then you know if a blind user would be on their home screen and their balance is going to be, I know you have the option of hide the balance, and but if maybe the default would be to hide the balance, it's a very small thing, but for someone who is blind, like, they don't know if their balance is on the screen or not, and how do they know, and what if they're in a public space? Otherwise they'll be put in the position to only use the Bitcoin wallet when they're at home. Another thing is the seed phrase. Like, how do they even remember that? Like, you would need to remind them to note down their seed phrase when they're in a private environment and not in a public environment. So there's all these little intricacies that just in general lead to better privacy and security for users in general. So yeah, it's a good. Yeah, I don't have any more to add on the accessibility day. Yeah.
No, I think there were some very, very good things here, and by the way, we're almost at the hour anyway, so we can also just wrap it up. And this time I'm gonna stop the recording on purpose, not by accident. So sorry for these issues. I don't know. Didn't have any connectivity issues in the last couple of weeks, so that's
You're past due.
yeah. I don't know. It seems to be something with me and Jitsi and recording. I think that's the issue. All right. So should we wrap it up? Let's wrap it up. I'm gonna
Let's
stop
wrap it.
there.
Congratulations again,